Hi, my name's Allie, and I just wanted to talk about how to manage difficult family situations during the holidays. So sometimes we have family members that may be too toxic for us to even want to be around them. So sometimes we do choose to not spend our holidays with them. And then sometimes for some reasons we have some obligations that we have to spend time with our family. So I wanted to talk about these two different situations. So either making the choice to be away from your family, or also making the choice to be with your family, and how to manage it when you're in that situation too. So if you're choosing to, or if you have an obligation or by choice, or you just, you want to be around your family, they're not like toxic to the point where you just want to be alone for the holidays. But if you need to be around people who are toxic, I just wanted to give you some tips to manage this. So when you find yourself around toxic family members, I think my number one rule is just to not engage when possible. So just an example, I know there's so many different levels of toxicity, and there's so many different even abuse sometimes. Like sometimes, we are subject to verbal abuse and different things, and how to avoid that, how to manage it. So my number one thing for managing somebody who maybe they put you down a lot, so maybe they ask you questions about yourself, and then they just like put down everything that you're doing, and they just want to, you're living your life, and you're just talking about your life, and then they're like, no, you need to do this and that, and you're not doing it right. And that is not a healthy level. That's not a healthy way to engage. So I would try to, if that is happening to you and you have someone who's doing that to you, I would try to minimize the amount that you're exposing yourself to them. So I would try to set really heavy boundaries with people and not even talk about certain things. I would just keep your answers. If they ask you questions, I would keep your answers to a bare minimum. And I know that it can be hard because, with family, like you want to open up and you want to share things with your family sometimes, and you want your family to be happy for you, but sometimes they're not able to do that. Sometimes they're not, they don't have it in them to have that warmth and that happiness, and they're just not that way. So I would suggest, just to keep that boundary, almost like sometimes you even have to keep a wall and just, maybe choose to talk about something else. You can divert the conversation. So if they're asking a lot of questions and you find that it's just an unhealthy dynamic is playing out in a conversation, you don't have to sit there and tolerate that. You don't have to sit there and tolerate verbal abuse. You don't have to sit there and tolerate negativity. You can also create another situation where you need to get up and leave and walk away from this person, like, oh, I'm going to help somebody do this, or I'm going to go do the dishes, or oh, I have a phone call, and just step out for a while and come back and maybe talk to somebody else. So it's up to you to find a way to just minimize that kind of negativity put on you, because you don't want to have to deal with that. That's never a fun thing to deal with. So that's one of my biggest tips, is just try to, create that boundary, try to, like navigate the situation so that you're not just exposed to anybody putting you down or anybody saying negative things to you. So another tip that I have is that, say you have a family that's just really argumentative and you don't want to be around all this chaos, it doesn't feel good to you. Never ever be afraid to leave a situation. Even just because you came into a situation doesn't mean you have to stay there. If it's just so intolerable, if it just feels painful, if you don't ever have to put yourself in a place that you don't want to be in. So there's always the option to leave if it gets that bad. Sometimes it's okay to make a little white lie as an excuse for you to get out of a situation so that you're not hurting anybody's feelings. So these things can be difficult, but just remember that, you don't owe people anything. You don't deserve to be around negativity, and you have the choice to where you can place yourself in situations. And also remember that if you do want to leave or not be around your family, it's never selfish to do so. And again, you don't owe anybody any explanation. So there are people out there who might make you feel selfish because you don't attend, events, or you're not at a gathering, or you're just not present. And there's probably reasons why you're not wanting to go to certain things and not being present. So it's not a selfish thing to take care of yourself, because in the long run, it's just going to be better for your health. It's going to be better for your mental health and your well-being. So don't ever let anybody make you feel guilty for not being around them, for not being present with them, because you need to take care of yourself. And if you don't take care of yourself, then nobody else will. So if you did decide to make the choice to be away from your family during the holidays, congratulations, because that is not an easy thing to do, especially if in the past you have attended gatherings with them and there's that like unspoken expectation of doing so. That can be a difficult thing to do, to remove yourself from a negative, toxic situation. But congratulations if you decided to do that, and if you decided to spend your time doing something else during the holidays. So I'm going to give you some tips to help if you have to spend the holidays alone, but there's other ways to navigate, just so you don't feel, sad that you're alone, or sad that, there can be a lot of emotions that come up when you're choosing not to be with your family for your own good reasons. There can still be a lot of like mixed, conflicting emotions. But if you've made the decision to ultimately not do it, I would trust yourself and I would trust your gut and not question yourself. One of the tips that I have is to have a goal on that day. So if it's a certain holiday, whatever you're celebrating, and you're not going to be, with your family, if you usually are, you decided to, just take a break from that and disengage from that, then it's good to have some kind of goal. So make it something that you enjoy. Maybe not make it about, cleaning or organizing, or unless you really, really enjoy that. But it would help if it was, something that you really like to do. So maybe you like to sew, maybe you like to crochet, maybe you like to go on hikes, maybe you can go on a hike that day, maybe you love animals and maybe you can volunteer. So charity work is a really good way to spend the holidays in a way for me, it's always uplifting to volunteer for somebody or for people who are less fortunate than you, because it just gives this feeling of like wholesomeness, and you're still around people and you're helping people. So it's a really fun thing, not just fun, but it's just a really wholesome thing to give your energy to people in need. There were some years where, maybe I got together some friends and we made sandwiches for homeless people and gave them away. There were times where I made gift baskets for the people who are begging on the streets. So there's so many different things you could do. You could contact your local animal shelter and see if they need help on that holiday. Like a nursing home, you can help elderly people. There's different things that you can do and different ways to do that. Another thing is to find people who are in a similar situation to you, because you're never alone. There's thousands, if not millions of people who have gone through, having toxic family members that they don't want to be around, and they decide to do something else, go off on their own thing. And it's just it's beautiful to create your own space and create your own vibe, and you don't want to always, get influenced by energy that's not going to be beneficial to you, and probably not to them either, because if they're just being toxic towards you, they're just kind of like feeding their habit. So anyway, so another thing is to find people who are in a similar boat to you. So if you do have friends, maybe you can organize your own gathering. You can have like a little gathering somewhere. Sometimes there's communities who also have like public gatherings for people. So look into that too. There's a lot of different things you could do. So another thing that you could do is go to a friend's house for the holidays. So if your friend is spending time with their family, maybe they have room for you, and maybe they'll understand your situation. Well, I'm sure, most people would understand their situation, would understand this type of situation, hopefully. So you could talk to a friend and see if, they have any space for you to spend their holiday. I'm sure if you have a good friend, they'd love to have you with them and their family. So another good thing to do if you are in this situation is to take a trip. So traveling is always something that really focuses your mind on something. Like traveling is just a really adventurous, and it's always really fun. It's spontaneous. So your mind will not be focused on, you know, what, like if you're missing out on something, it won't be focused on, you know, feeling bad, hopefully. Just, you know, traveling and finding activities to do, doing new things, just opening your mind to exploring a new situation. So that is also something I love to do, that it can be a healthy distraction as long as you're not just doing it all the time and spending a ton of money on traveling. So lastly, I just want to wish you good luck no matter what you're choosing to do this holiday. If you are in a toxic family situation, whether you're spending time alone or whether you're spending time with them, just remember that it's not your fault for other people's behavior. So you are not responsible for anyone else's behavior. You're not responsible for what anybody thinks of you. So just remember that whatever they say to you or whatever you think they might be thinking about you, that shouldn't even be in your sphere. So taking care of yourself is the most important thing to do. Your wellness, your health, your well-being, that is the most important thing for you to do, because from there you can create, you know, your own happiness, and from there you can spread your happiness to others. So if you don't care about yourself, then no one else will. So just remember that. And the reasons for why people are toxic, you know, no one's wanting to be toxic intentionally. No one's trying to be having abusive behavior. It's just something that, you know, it's within them, and it's something from their past experiences that have made them act that way. So it's not necessary to put any blame on other people for why they are the way they are. And sometimes we just need to, you know, realize how that, like, a person is, and just, you know, to take, you know, steps away from them if we have to. So yeah, there's no need to blame other people for, you know, have really harsh feelings about them. I mean, you're gonna go through what you're going through, and it's okay to be angry, you know, it's okay to blame when you need to, and it's okay to experience and feel all these feelings that come along with, you know, your realizations about how people have treated you. So it's okay to go through all that, but in the end, it's super important to be just focused on yourself, because also being angry a lot, or being, you know, too sad, or like it's in so much blame, that's really affecting your health as well. So I would try to you know, just understand that a person is the way they are, from their own past experiences, and you can't change them. Like, no matter how, I've tried so many times to help so many people, and no matter how many times you try to help people, like, that's their own journey, and you have to respect their journey. Like, it's almost like, I want to say it's almost disrespectful to try to change somebody when they're not ready to, they don't want to. It's just you just have to trust. You just have to trust that, you know, everyone has their own journey, and everyone will find their own way, and you got to find your own way. And to create the healthy life that you want, you do have to leave things behind. So never let people make you feel guilty for choosing the life that you deserve, or choosing the healthier decisions, because they don't know what's best for you as much as you don't know what's best for them. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you got something out of this video. Good luck to you, and all my love to you, and take care. Happy holidays.